Tonight on the Black Channel, we're going to begin a conversation here tonight about exactly why it is that of all the things we are focused on, economics is now at the top of the discussion. The Black Channel is live. Unapologetic, unadulterated, and absolutely uncompromising. Greetings, brothers and sisters from around the world, and welcome back to the home, the haven, the stronghold, and the everlasting superfortress of intelligent black thought. We are the Black Media, and this is the Black Channel. And I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the anchor man of the new Black Media, the Black Authority, broadcasting to you live from the only historically black college university of higher education and learning in the cosmos. You are, of course, welcome to join us. And join us you shall, because on tonight's program, there's so much I could talk about. There is so much ground that I could cover. There are so many things that I could be taking a look at and could be examining. I try very hard not to get off into a mishmash of things. It's very easy for that to occur. It is very easy for that to happen. I try to be a lot more focused because I think that's really the best way of being able to deal with things. So there are a lot of things out there happening right now, and I don't want to short sell that. There are a lot of things occurring. So I want to try to focus on a couple of things in particular here tonight. And I saw something that I think encapsulates the issue, encapsulates why we're here, encapsulates all of this perfectly. For those of you who did not know, this story has just been hitting the media here in the past couple of days. This story is just hitting the media now. Outrageously predictable and unbelievably insulting. They have announced that in the city of Chicago that they are going to have a hiring freeze. There's going to be a hiring freeze in the city and whatnot because, there's going to be a deficit. There's going to be a deficit of $1 billion through next year. We're not talking about for 10 years now. We're talking about just through next year, a deficit of $1 billion. Isn't this the city that just yanked out at least, $100 million or so for illegals, folks who are not supposed to even be there? Now they're going to tell the rest of us we have to carry that burden and that we need to shoulder that. When you go around here and whatnot, when you take a look at these things, you see stuff that, it just looks weird. It just looks weird. It just looks strange. It just looks really, really bizarre when you see these things. It really, really does. It absolutely does. And you kind of have to start asking yourself, what in the world is going on? Why are these folk acting like this? Because there must be a reason for it. There must be a reason. There must be some explanation. Because it goes beyond just Chicago there. It goes beyond that. But for my folks there in Chicago, isn't this amazing? Isn't this amazing? Every time you turn around here, they're giving you and I excuses for what they can't do and what they won't do. And we're talking about it drags on decade after decade. Oh, ain't no money, can't do nothing with it, can't do nothing with it right there. Oh, there's no money there. Now they're telling you, there's no money in Chicago. Yeah, what about all those millions and millions of dollars you gave to illegals? What about that? No committee, no commission. They're telling you and I, everything needs a committee, it needs a commission. We got to vote on it. We got to get the assembly together here. We all got to bump our heads, clunk. When it comes to these other folks right there, it's like, oh yeah, we don't have anything to give to you. We gave it to all of them. And so just so you all know here, by the way, just in case you thought this was a victimless crime, just in case you thought that this was going to have no repercussions, just in case you thought it was the bottomless pit of plenty, actually, no, it's not. Actually, no, it's not. They're telling you here right now, it's going to be a hiring freeze. From Bloomberg News, it says Chicago is freezing hiring and curbing other expenses. By the way, remember, they said the same thing in New York. Remember that? What? Eric Adams up there in New York, they're doing the same thing in New York City, remember? For those of you who forgot, they're doing the exact same thing in New York City. The so-called sanctuary cities intend to balance their budgets on the backs of the foundational freedmen here and tell us that we got to pay for that while denying us. By the way, Chicago is making a hiring freeze and curbing other expenses to help close the more than $1 billion in budget shortfalls through next year in the nation's third largest city, effective Monday. What? Oh boy. Yeah, you ain't gonna get they didn't get no chance to breathe. Now, this story was released on September 9th, which only was released in the afternoon. So it may have been effective on the 9th, and again, it might be the 16th. Regardless, either way, it's going to knock you on your rump. Effective Monday, Chicago is limiting non-essential travel and overtime expenses outside of public safety. So in other words, the police. So everybody else is going to take a hiring freeze except for the police. So just in case you thought that they were going to get a holiday, nope, they're going to have to get this work too. Budget Director Annette Guzman said in an email statement, Chicago is staring down an estimated $229 million deficit this year. How much did they give to the illegals, by the way? About $100 million. So $100 million, we know where at least half of that deficit is coming from. We know where at least half that deficit for this year is coming from. By the way, they're talking about this year, and the year isn't even over yet. So it's an estimated $222.9 million deficit this year and another $982.4 million projected gap next year. Damn! These measures, while necessary, reflect our commitment to responsible fiscal management during a time of financial uncertainty. Responsible fiscal management? What part of this is responsible? Guzman said in the statement, they've mismanaged the city's finances. Now she's saying, hey, we got to tighten the belts around y'all's necks for this year and next year because we got to make sure the illegals are nice and comfy. Oh, yeah, the illegals and all the rich white folk who bring them here. City officials, including the budget and finance teams, quote, are working diligently to navigate these financial challenges and ensure the continued delivery of essential services to our residents. Without the illegals, the money would be there. Mayor Brandon Johnson, designated crash dummy, who is crafting his second spending plan, is trying to make good on his progressive social and economic campaign promises while grappling with the city's challenging finances. He will outline his budget, including how he plans to close the 2025 gap in the next month or two. That's literally what the article says, in the next month or two. The Chicago City Council then will vote on the proposal by the end of 2024. Johnson is confronting similar issues to his predecessor, drunk Uncle Lori Lightfoot. Lori Lightfoot implemented a hiring freeze when she addressed back-to-back shortfalls fueled by jumps in the city's mandated pension payments early in her term. Johnson's administration is also looking for revenue. The budget gap he faces come amid a drop in the so-called personal property replacement taxes from the state, and because the city school district isn't spending $175 million to pay a portion of pension contributions for its non-teaching staff that participate in the city's municipal employee retirement fund, according to Guzman's statement. Rising personnel, pension, and contractual costs quote, alongside ongoing revenue challenges are driving the shortfall next year, according to the statement. The measures the city announced Monday are a starting point, said Ferguson, president of the Civic Federation, a government watchdog. While the steps send the right message, quote, in response to the deficits, questions about how city departments will work with labor groups to deliver critical services with potentially less resources are still unanswered, he said. Quote, I am heartened by the fact that there is at least a recognition of the magnitude of this problem, Ferguson said. This is a story by a woman named Shruti Singh. She didn't say a word about the illegal aliens. Damn! This article was written by a woman named Shruti Singh, and I just read the entire article for you from Bloomberg News from top to bottom, and she says not a syllable in that entire so-called puff piece article, not a syllable about the illegal aliens. Now, doesn't that strike all of you as a bit odd? She works for Michael Bloomberg, one of the richest people in the world, works for his little dish rag newspaper there. She goes to this whole article about Chicago and big expenses and doesn't say a word about the illegals. Not a word about them. Doesn't that strike anybody here as odd? Because it certainly strikes me as strange. How in the world did she get her job? How is that possible? How is she still working there? How can that be? It's because I want you all to know that the fix is in. That's the real issue here. The real issue is that the fix is in. The real issue is that the point of all these folks here is that they're playing against you and me. They're playing against us. And no, they're not playing fair at all. This is the game that they're doing. For those of you who follow me here and whatnot, you'll notice that I've tried to keep you abreast of as many things as I possibly can. I cover a lot of things in a lot of different places. There's one more here in particular. If you follow me here on YouTube, then you notice that I also, a few days ago, I put up a YouTube short, which was about something in particular here. Put up a YouTube short that I thought was very interesting. Most people don't know about this. If you don't live in Chicago, and for many of the people who live in Chicago, a lot of them may not be aware of that as well. Let me go ahead and throw this up on the screen for you because I want you to see something and hold on to your hats. Just in case you thought that you had been about as shocked and abused by anything you could see in Chicago ever in your life, the fix was in a long time ago here. Want you all to learn something.
Fun fact. Almost half of the parking meters in Chicago are owned by the Abu Dhabi Investment Authority, and the other half are owned by a shadowy company called Bredoma. The city of Chicago was hit hard by the 2008 financial crisis and desperately needed money, so Morgan Stanley offered them a deal. A group of investors they had put together would give them $1.15 billion in exchange for all the money from the city's 36,000 parking meters for 75 years. It was a bad deal, but out of desperation, the city took it. Immediately after the deal was signed, the investment group jacked up the price of parking in the city, and Chicago is one of the most expensive places to park in America. Also, if the city ever wanted to hold a parade, remove a parking spot, install a new bus stop, or limit access to a parking meter for any reason, they would have to pay the investment group the value of the parking meter to do so. And by 2023, they had to pay the group $79 million for any one of those reasons. By early 2023, the investment group had made back all their money, plus an extra $500 million, with 61 years still left to go on the deal.
Did you get that? What? They still have this deal is going to endure for another 61 years. They have already made back all their money. If the city wants to make any changes, they got to go through this private corporation, and they have another 61 years of profit that they'll be raking in. Merrill Lynch, white, generational wealth, and Arabs, who y'all were thinking after 9/11 that was going to be the case here. No. They know who the enemy is. They know who the enemy is. They know who they're targeting. Folks, we're talking about those parking meters things. You're looking at billions in profit when they get done. When they get done, they're going to try to make that billions. And they're probably going to come very, very close to being able to do that if they don't exceed it. Yeah, I wonder where the money went. I wonder why Chicago is in such a deficit now. I wonder why they are. Actually, I don't wonder why they are. Yeah, how many of you were aware of that? That in the city of Chicago, that's what's going on in the city of Chicago. That was been over a decade now. Folks have taken them to court to try to overturn it, and don't you know the courts have sided with Merrill Lynch and the rest of them. Nope, the courts are sticking with them. They said a deal's a deal. Even if it's a bad deal, a deal's a deal. That's what the courts have literally said. They've been sued a couple of times now behind this parking meter scam. And the courts, like Emperor Palpatine, he owns the Senate and the courts. Well, Emperor Palpatine and friends in Chicago there, well, a deal's a deal. Yeah, a bunch of folks in Chicago, y'all didn't know that that's what happened to your parking meters. Oh yeah, first order of business for them was to raise all the costs of all the meters, by the way. That was the first thing they did. Once they took over, they raised the costs of all the meters. That was what they did. Just in case you were wondering, yeah, they made sure they got that done. Made sure they got that through. You gonna learn today. You gonna learn today. But folks, there's money all over the place in these things. There are folk all over the place in these things. And if you knew, if you had an idea, want to show you something on your screens here now. This is Steve Ballmer on your screen. Some of you may recognize him. He used to be CEO of Microsoft, during the bad years. One of the worst CEOs ever. And he was CEO of Microsoft during the bad years. Cashed out with a whole bunch of money. He cashed out with billions. Enough money to, he went to go buy the Los Angeles Clippers from Donald Sterling. Damn! So for those of you who may not remember, that's Steve Ballmer, formerly of Microsoft. He got so much money from Microsoft for doing such a great job running the company into the concrete that he had enough money to go buy the LA Clippers. So there's old Steve. And in case you all were wondering what Steve has been up to, well, Steve apparently has decided to start a YouTube channel. And, just last month, listen to what Steve Ballmer, one of the richest men on the planet, one of the most privileged men on the planet, and listen to what he goes on YouTube with a phony channel called USA Facts. Misinformation and disinformation, please. Here's what Steve wants to talk to you all about.
Bases like vacation. I'm going to focus on those who live here as temporary residents of the United States. Category 2 is authorized immigrants who have the opportunity to follow a path to citizenship. This includes those sponsored by a relative or employer, as well as people who have been granted asylum or refugee status. Category 3 is unauthorized immigrants. This is a government term that is a bit misleading because, as we've researched it, I've learned that it included those who are here in violation of our laws, but also those who are here seeking asylum according to laws as they have existed since 1980, as well as migrants who are pre-approved to come to the United States due to humanitarian crises like what's happening in Haiti or Ukraine.
Yeah. Michael Bloomberg, billionaire, one of the richest people on the planet, and he's all in for illegals. Steve Ballmer, billionaire, one of the richest people on the planet, and what do you know? He's so glad he's got all that money so he can come propagandize all of us and say, by the way, the real issue is you don't understand how good this is. And well, yes, there are some people here in violation of the laws, but actually the other illegals are not really illegal because, well, they're here seeking asylum. This is Steve Ballmer. People, what the hell do they have to gain from this? What is this? Go a little further here. This is on Twitter from The Guardian. Let's hear it for the Brits. And listen to this. Haitian immigrants, these are illegals now. Haitian immigrants helped revive a struggling Ohio town. Then neo-Nazis showed up. So they're talking about all the illegal aliens, Haitians in Ohio. And they're saying that they've helped to revive a struggling town. This is The Guardian. People. The Guardian. Bloomberg. Ballmer. This is no joke, man. You're talking about billions and billions of dollars. What's in it for them? Why are they all so hard body for this? Why are they all lining up to crash out? You know it's not because it benefits the illegals. You know that's not the reason. What's the real reason that they're doing this? It's got to be to protect white interests. That's what it has to be. That's the only reason. It's the only one. And that is because all of them recognize the need to neutralize a very, in their eyes, very dangerous and very destabilizing force. That is you and me. Because you see, I was going to deal with this a little bit differently here, but I'm going to go ahead and go into this tonight. I'm going to go into this tonight here. You want to know what the real issue here is? You know what it is? Why we are going to change the social order? You want to know what makes it different here? You want to know why the economics matter? Let me just break it down to y'all in one simple way here. It's because the whole reason why they want to throw every obstacle possible in the way to keep us from competing is because they have taken a look at sports, music, medicine, and anything else we get involved in, and they know that when it comes down to nut cracking time, we can do it better. Damn! Now, there's the reality that if you actually put us in charge, if we actually got to hold the helm and to steer the ship, we're going to do it better. And they know it. Remember, they promised you everything they told you that if the Negroes get involved, it's going to become terrible. We got involved, revolutionized it, and the world never looked back. And the same thing will happen to the system of capitalism. Brothers and sisters from around the world, we are not going to destroy the system of capitalism. We are going to create a new system. And that new system of capitalism will work far better than anything that they've done before. It will not have the huge gulfs of engineered inequity. It will actually be a true meritocracy. White supremacy's 500-year war path across the planet was to destroy meritocracy. That whiteness would become currency, and that whiteness would be fully backed with full faith and credit with no effort on their part. It would become a dynastic entitlement. and that whether they were the little weird kids in the corner or whatever, nothing mattered there. This would guarantee their privilege for perpetuity. That's what this is all about. That's what this has always been about. And throwing stumbling blocks in our way is the only way they can prevent that from occurring, because the truth of the matter is we are the most ambitious, industrious people that you've ever met. But there is a difference. Our idea of industry is not destructive. You see, the white supremacist capitalist model is warfare. And war, by definition, is destructive. This is the paradigm that was given to us by Brother Neely Fuller. That's why he uses those terms destructive and constructive. He doesn't use the terms good and bad, right and wrong, because whether you like it or not, good and bad are subjective. Look it up. Good and bad are subject to whoever the person is using the word. Your definition of good might be different from somebody else's idea of good. Your definition of evil might be different from somebody else's definition of evil. And if you're in the room with white supremacists, there is no definition of evil except anything that doesn't go their way. However, there is only one definition of constructive and destructive. Now, there's only one for those, which is why Brother Neely Fuller chose that. Instead of saying what is good or what is right or what is just, he defines it as constructive and destructive. White supremacy is destructive. Justice is constructive. Justice builds and improves on where it is to the mutual benefit of all. White supremacy destroys, ultimately to the benefit of none, not even itself. Have you all ever seen strip mining? Not to be confused with strip teasing. Strip mining, it's an outrageously destructive thing. You're literally digging in and leveling the earth. You're digging out caustic chemicals that have to be stored above land and in many cases start leaking into the groundwater. It is an empire built on the destructive because they are at war. They're at war with you. They're at war with me. They're at war with the earth. They're at war with the universe, and ultimately at war with themselves. So you see, their definition of capitalism is destructive. Gobble up the forest down to the last tree. Drink up the waters down to the last drop. Rape the natural resources down to the last grain of sand. People, do you know they say that the world is running out of sand? What? Don't believe me? Go Google it for yourselves. These folk have gone so far here that they're saying that now the world's running out of sand. We're talking about the good stuff because there's good sand and bad sand. But by the way, in case you didn't know, yeah, they're using up all the sand now. No, seriously. Seriously. Yes, some of you are like, wow, really? What? Yes. Well, Jason, what are they doing with it? Well, they're building skyscrapers. You know those great big ass, huge, tall, skinny scrapers and skyscrapers and penthouse lofts that they build in New York and all these crazy places? Yeah. You use it for that. You use it for that. You and me aren't using concrete like that. You and me don't use it like that. They do. They want, folks, I've been there. I've seen it. The piano building in New York, I've seen it in person. Strange looking little structure, but that wasn't his point. The point was they wanted to build a mega tall skyscraper so that they could have a sky high view over Central Park in New York. That one and the other skinny scraper next to it, so that mega rich people can spend $50 and $100 million to buy an apartment or a condo or a loft up there so they can have a sky high view and feel like the prince and the king of New York. The whole point of building those skyscrapers is use this tremendous amount of sand and concrete and everything so that they can have this majestic view of the city. That's its only purpose for being. So they can be in the middle of the city in their 6th or 7th residence, by the way, because they've got residences around the world. This is just number 6 or 7. And when they come to New York, they live in the piano building and they have a view of the city. Yeah. Yeah. Talk about destructive. When we get done, when we are in charge, there will be a constructive, balanced approach. Not this destructive, carnivorous approach. It will be a system whereby which we encourage and reward across the board. Not an oligarchy where you have a privileged few who are the laziest, most incompetent people in the room who sucked all the oxygen out of it for their own benefit. They'll be required to pull their own weight. And hell yeah, they are fighting tooth and nail to prevent that. I want to go ahead and remind you of something right here, folks. When you think about this for a few moments here, when you think about this, what in the hell is The Guardian doing talking like this? Why are they talking like this so crazy? Why are they speaking that way? And I want you all to understand there is a grain of truth in this. I have driven through Ohio. Ohio is basically one big ass farm. What? For those of you who, if you come down from Chicago or something, you might be able to traipse through there or something. Not a bunch of black folk in Indiana like that, but you come down from Chicago or whatever, if you ever deviated over to Ohio. Folks, Ohio is a big ass farm. If you've ever driven the freeway through Ohio, I'm talking about hundreds of miles of farm. Not tens, not dozens. Ohio is hundreds of miles of farm. Hundreds. You drive for hours and hours and hours and it just doesn't stop. Anywhere. Who do you think's paying the bills in Springfield? Damn! Who do you think is throwing advertising dollars at The Guardian? Who do y'all think is doing that? Who do you think is throwing advertising dollars at Bloomberg News? Who do you think's doing that? Did you all consider that for a few moments? What is their dog to fight in this thing? Why on earth are they sending out, Steve Ballmer? Doesn't he have something to do? Like, take care of that NBA team that ain't doing a damn thing. You'd figure he'd have important things to do, and yet Skeletor is sitting up here making YouTube videos as if he's somebody we would ever listen to, trying to propagandize us. What does he get out of this? Do you all understand how much money those folks use, how much money those folks spend? Do you understand that? Do you understand that they know full damn well they didn't do a damn thing to keep it, they didn't do a damn thing to build it, they're not interested in competition, damn sure not interested in innovation. They've got what they got, and now they're looking to make a perpetual system of injustice where they and their heirs do not have to compete. They will simply be born into it, and they have it, and they keep it, and that's all the way they will be right there. And we'll lock that down, and then you realize, oh boy, all these mega rich folk are on the same damn page. Don't let Elon Musk fool you. What? Don't let him fool you. Don't let him deceive you. Some of y'all think about it differently, by the way. Don't let him trick you either. Please remember, a decade ago I showed you Michael Bloomberg and Rupert Murdoch. Fox News, Rupert Murdoch? Yep, both of them sitting on the couch talking about how we need to give a pathway to citizenship to these illegals. Everybody knows what they're doing, and everybody knows how they're doing it. And all of them see us as the primary target, because if we get in charge, you can't throw the white supremacist accusation at us, and we're not on your damn program. We have a better way. We have a better system, and we have a better way. We revolutionized agriculture thousands of years ago, hundreds of years ago, dozens of years ago, and if they hadn't taken over with the government and agribusiness, we would still be doing it today. We have always had a better way. Always. There's a reason why you don't hear about unarmed people getting gunned down all over the place when there's a black police force. What? When we are the police, you don't hear about people getting shot in the back, which tells you it's not accidental. You don't hear about unarmed women getting gunned down, which tells you that when the white cops do it, it's not accidental. If it's accidental, explain to me how it is that you don't see a bunch of trials with black police officers sitting up there having shot somebody in the back, shot some little pregnant woman, kicked in somebody's door and gunned down a naked woman like Breonna Taylor. You don't ever hear about that. After all these years, the Ben Shapiros and friends never wanted, they can never explain why that's not happening. They can never explain why it is. You can name the number of black police officers that have them with on one hand and have enough fingers left over to drive. But with the white ones, it's a never-ending stream. Well, why is that? Why is it that we can do it better? Because we are not at war with the environment. We are not at war with the community. We are not at war with the people. We actually came to construct something. But you are in a wicked, evil, corrupted system of white supremacy. So like Christopher Dorner, you came to construct, they've come to destruct, and you will be the one who gets run out so long as they are in power. They are a vicious, evil, heartless, animalistic lot. And they use their money to perpetuate their barbarism. They are a death cult. White supremacy is a death cult. It revels in suffering and misery and destruction. It loves it because it sees destruction as a tool with which to improve. In reality, all they're using it for is to wipe out anybody who would stand against their barbarism, but that's why they love it. They have told themselves, well, this is making things better. It's obviously not making things better for everyone, but then again, that's not their goal. Their goal isn't to improve things for everyone. Their goal is to improve things for themselves. Understand something, people. Steve Ballmer is a white man who got the benefits of being at a white corporation. And the man who put him there, Bill Gates, is a beneficiary of his white mama. So these are white men who've been given everything they have. Don't you know that they understand how weak their position actually is? Don't you know that they understand that if you had enough capital, and quote, enough capital does not mean trillions of dollars. As black folk right here, if every black person in here had just 100,000 extra dollars, you'd revolutionize the American economy. That's why they make it their goal to make sure you have $0 left over. You must be kept in abject poverty and economic captivity productivity, you can't be allowed to get anything. Not a penny. If you let them niggas have a penny, they'll turn it into a dime. They get a dime, it's a dollar. They get a dollar, it's out. We out of here. They know this. They know this because we've always had an ingenuity in looking at things. We've always been able to eliminate unnecessary inefficiencies. And that gives us the edge every time we take a look at it and identify inefficiencies and then remove them. But see, in the system of white supremacy, those are not inefficiencies. What? That's what I want y'all to understand. You recognize this is your job. Let me get a show of hands in here right now. For those of you who worked at these jobs, you work at these corporations, you work at these local white companies, you see them doing stupid, dumb stuff day after day, messing up the cash registers. Things are redundant. Things are inefficient. They're wasteful as hell with the money. They're wasteful with the resources. Somebody's lazy ass nephew is just sitting up in here. Give me a show of hands in the chat room if you see this every damn day, and hit the likes button for me. It's 4,000 people in here live and only 1,600 likes. Am I upsetting some folks here? If I'm telling the truth, put a hand up in the chat room and hit the likes button for me. You go to work every day. I don't give a damn if it's McDonald's or McDonnell Douglas. Okay, I understand. I don't give a damn if it's Burger King or Boeing. You see this all the damn time. Any one of us in here could run Boeing better than the absentee imbeciles sitting in Boeing's corporate boardroom today. You and me wouldn't have damn me planes falling out the sky. Doors flying off the planes. Let me tell y'all something. You have never seen an operation run as well as it does when you've got some proud foundational black folk working there. I said it.
And deal with it, nigga.
When the descendants show up, when we there and we kicking it and we live, that's what they've always wondered about that. That's why I showed y'all the galley dancers. I showed y'all the Gandhi dancers. I showed y'all about that. There's a reason for that. Because we've always done better at that. We can sit there, even sit in, everybody else is bull jiving and lazy. We sitting up there and whatnot, whistling while we work and getting it done better and more efficient than any damn body. Let me tell y'all something. You know why it was that we were so nutritionally blessed as children? Because of our grandmothers, our mothers, and oh yeah, one more damn thing. When you went to work at your schools, those black women who worked in the cafeterias at the schools when we were children, them women knew how to take care of us. The food wasn't all messed up and burnt. Wasn't a bunch of genetically modified processed garbage. Them women knew how to walk back there and feed 1,000 kids. And they wasn't back there yelling and screaming and arguing and throwing silver at each other and throwing muffins. There wasn't none of that going on. And it was straight every day. Every day. As black men from the soil, we take an extreme amount of pride in what we do. See, understand something here. There's a reason why I want you to understand something. When you talk about this, shout out to Tariq about microphone check. There's a dimension to this, however, that folks don't talk about when we discuss rap and hip hop. Rap and hip hop, do you all understand that one of the core, fundamental, foundational, if you will, principles of rap is name dropping? What? That when they sit up there and make a song, you've heard it for years. When NWA came out, first thing Ice Cube would say was his name. Ice Cube is not for the pop charts. And that's what these young men have learned to do over and over again. They learned that if you want to become popular, if this song catches on, you need your name in the song. You can't wait for the DJ at the radio station to say your name. You can't wait for somebody to stumble across it at the CD store. They learned it. They took pride in the music that they made, and they were willing to bet on themselves, and they imprinted their own name in the actual physical structure of the song. White artists to this day still don't do that. B-O-O-S-I-E. Y'all know it. Y'all know the rest. That wasn't even his song, by the way. For those of you who didn't know, that wasn't even Boosie's song. Wipe Me Down is not even his song. It's the other fella's song. But everybody associates with Boosie. Yeah, because he knew what to do. Think about that for a few moments. Yeah, that wasn't even Boosie then took the damn thing over. Whenever they hear the damn song, they associate it with Boosie. And Webby's fans have to remind folks, hey, by the way, that's not even Boosie's song. It's too late now, nigga. It's like a decade. It's gone. Forget it. Hey, just collect your check, Webby. Collect your check. But when folk hear the song, first thing to think about is Boosie. Okay, that song was an advertisement. And okay, but understand the reason for it. It was an advertisement because Boosie is proud of his work. Boosie is like, man, you let me rip this damn song, it's gonna pop off. And it did. He wasn't afraid to put his name all over it because he was certain of the quality of his work. That's what I want y'all to understand. Even if it's not necessarily your cup of tea or whatever, understand when rappers do this from time immemorial. LL Cool J, with song I'm Bad, LL I'm Bad. They put their names on it and stamped it on there because they took pride in their work. When it plays on the radio, they want everybody to know that's me because I built this. It's not just another mass-produced song. Tell me when Gene Simmons and Kiss put their names on their songs. The Bee Gees. I'm telling you that we look at all of that different. We look at all that different. So we put our, as foundational folks here, we put our names on it. We stamp our name on it. If you got an issue with it, you come back here. We put our name on it. This is why we want to sit up here and separate ourselves from anybody who wants to run a damn scam, anybody who wants to sit up here and run a damn fraud, because we came to do business. Let me tell y'all something right now. You ain't never seen a black man who is more dedicated to quality than a black man at a barbecue competition. Damn! Oh, I'm saying it right now. We going all the way with it here tonight. We going all the way with it. You ain't never seen a black man who is more on his business. That right there, let me tell you, he'll be standing over you waiting to hear if there's a damn complaint. Y'all remember Old Boy from a Different World? That's taken from real damn life. Y'all know that? If you got a black man who knows how to cook, he'll be done serve you up and dare you to say that this ain't the best you ever ate. He's gonna bust your ass over the head with that damn soup ladle for lying on him. You know it. It'd be one thing if he didn't know it was cracking off like that. We know when we doing a good damn job. We'll be there all damn night. I'm talking about obsessive. Niggas are sitting in bed, sitting there dreaming about it. Wish you would sit up here and lie and say this ain't the best you done ever had, and you sitting up here sucking your fingers and your woman's fingers on these damn barbecue ribs. If you don't quit lying on my ribs, don't get your head split down to the white meat. I might throw it on the grill. Damn! I'm talking about all of us identify with that and all of us see that because all of us have lived that. That's not running no scam. That's not trying to give some folks some substandard product or whatever. We gonna stand on that. Meanwhile, McDonald's and Burger King got billions of dollars and won't stand on a damn hamburger. You go to Kentucky Fried Chicken today? Kentucky Fried used to be better than Church's. I'm like, okay, now you can throw both of them in the wall and ain't gonna be nothing but a splatter of grease. It's a mess. It's gotten too big. They don't care about it. They don't take pride in it. Because the CEOs of these companies, it's not their name on it. It's not their name. It's a whole different thing when it's your name on it. And we'll be damned if we're going to have somebody going around kicking dirt on our name. You going to put some respect on it because we've earned it. But the problem is it is difficult to do your best work under these handicapped conditions. We don't get to do it the right way. We got to do it Bill Gates' way. We got to do it Steve Ballmer's way. We got to do it Google's way, even though their way is trash. Even though their way is wrong. They're not there because they're right. They're there because they're white and in power. Not because they're the smartest in the room, but because they're the most despotic in the room. That's how the West was won. That's how the system perpetuates itself, and they're terrified to death of what will happen if we get in charge of it. They're scared to death of that. They don't want it any time for it to come down to a straight up contest over what that'll be. And by the way, the young man talking about the parking meters in Chicago, talking about Merrill Lynch, who was the CEO of Merrill Lynch back in 2007 or so. 2007, yeah, Stanley O'Neill. Yikes. I know that didn't end very well. I want y'all to understand, folks have set up here and talked you into an inferiority complex. And I know that you got some folks, they've been desperate for so damn long that they become con men and con artists and whatnot. But understand something. The greatness of Black Wall Street was not that we built some little old janky houses. The greatness of Black Wall Street is we have taken pride in what we did. We had the best restaurants, and by that we mean we had the best food. White restaurants focus on ambiance. Look at the lighting over here. Oh, look at the placemats over here. Oh, the little frills on the tablecloths. Everyone have nice shirts on, and okay, this. Oh, look, we have a big fish up here on the wall. They will spend $1 million on decorations and $5,000 on the damn kitchen. Because you live in a culture of marketing. Well, put all the money into getting the customers up in here. Who gives a damn if the food's trash? I'm tired of people talking about damn me Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. Damn. Oh, I'm going there tonight. Ruth's Chris, people, y'all don't. Jason, why come you don't be big up in that? Because their food's trash. It is. If they bring you out one of them steaks, okay, that's fine. The rest, everything else on the damn, only thing they know how to do is make a steak. That's all they know how to do. Everything else is garbage. Their whole damn menu is garbage, and everybody's dancing around acting like it ain't. This is trash, man. I'm sitting there with a bunch of white folks sitting around me. They just gobbling it up. I'm like, what the hell? This is garbage, man. I'm not going to sit here and pretend it's not. This is trash. Overpriced, expensive trash. The ambiance was gorgeous. The windows were spotless. The tables were real mahogany. Oh, they had those luxury seats to sit in and whatnot. Everybody was very nicely dressed and tightly dressed there. They had like 3 hostesses at the door. Oh, the wine list was exquisite. The desserts there, they had all kinds of desserts listed there. The dessert list was very expansive, and chewing it was like chewing a damn rubber tennis ball. It was horrible. Stuck my fork in the cheesecake and the fork was standing up straight. You could literally sit there and smack it with your fork and it was bouncing. I told the man, do you see this? He talking about, we can get you another one. I said, you can get me a refund. What is this? Do you want to speak to the chef? Why? So I can punch him in the eye? You don't want to bring him out here. He's going to tell me he did a good job. You don't see this? Talking about a tip. I got a tip for you. Go down to the store and buy some Sara Lee for the next cheesecake, nigga. What? There's my tip. My tip is get his ass out that kitchen. That's my tip. Him or her, get them out the kitchen. That's my tip for y'all. There's a reason that doesn't happen like that. When we get up out there and whatnot, we're not relying on marketing. And I'm not saying that marketing and promotion are not important, because they are. You can have the best product in the world, but if nobody knows it's there, you're going to go out of business. Marketing and promotion is cool. Marketing and promotion cannot be the core of your business. The product or service you're providing must be the core of your business. And we have always done a good job, y'all. Black folk who work at General Motors and Ford are some of the most frustrated people you'll ever meet in your life. Folks who work at these automotive plants today are some of the most frustrated people you'll meet in your life. You know why? Because they see all kinds of stupid ass mistakes being done, and they're like, I'll be damned. If I had the money and whatnot, I'd buy this damn plant and do it right. It's nothing but aggravation at those places, because they all know that if they were running that damn joint, they would have them Dodge Chargers running correctly. They would be running for 200,000 miles and never break down. You don't have the situation that you have today because of us. If we were in charge of it, damn it, we'd have it straightened out. If we were running it, it would look just like everything else we done touched. From sports to music, everything else, it would get straightened out. Let me explain to y'all one more time here. And this is one of the things that I'm going to get into in my documentary, 8 a.m. Update on that coming here a little bit later here tonight. On my documentary, 8 a.m., the music business did not get straightened out until we came into some semblance of power. The only reason that artists today are able to get their publishing and get their masters, and that is more becoming the norm, is because we went to work and we went to war and we straightened that out. You never heard of any of your white artists anywhere correcting that system. From Sam Cooke to Master P to Birdman to Nipsey Hussle, rest in power. We came in and changed everything. We transformed that industry. The term slave deals was something that died on our watch. We put it to death. Everyone knows what a slave deal is today. No one's walking into the music business unaware, signing away their rights. Y'all know that now. Nobody's going in signing away their rights today, and they don't know what they're doing. If they go find some talentless hack, and this nigga, if they wasn't gonna give him a damn record deal, is either gonna be a hoe on a stripper pole somewhere, or some nigga picking up cigarette butts off of Michigan Avenue. But when we get involved, we straighten things out. That's why young people today, all of them want to be YouTubers. Yeah, because we changed the system of media capitalism. Before we came into power, everybody was getting raped. Let's just call it what it is. Before we came into power in the sports industry, everybody was getting raped. Before we came into power in the music industry, everybody was getting raped. Before we came into power in these different genres, you got into the business to get messed over. When we got done, now everybody's talking about ownership, including Taylor Swift. Damn! Taylor Swift, if she'll ever tell the truth about it, and I think one day she will, that she learned from us. That she didn't have to sit there and get messed over. Now she's gone back and re-recorded her songs so that she can own her publishing and her masters. A bunch of folk learned from us. Because we didn't sit there and say, oh, woe is me, we getting messed over, blah, 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 blah. We said, oh, hell no, we flipping over some tables. Niggas is jumping through windows. We gonna get this straightened out. We're not passing this on to the next generation. We are going to fix this. And today it has been fixed. Everybody knows how to make their own music thing crack off. The only thing stopping you is either lack of talent or lack of funds. But everybody knows, and they know how to go in and what a correct deal is. Everybody's going in looking for publishing and masters. They want to know what those two things are. Everybody going in looking. Ain't nobody sitting up here saying, come buy me a Cadillac, except that old dope fiend nigga they gave a contract to, and they hope that he can make one hit wonder. Everybody else knows they're not going into the business to sit up here and get a car. They're going into the business to be a boss. They're going into the business to be a boss. That did not exist before us. It didn't exist before we came along. When we seized it, we changed it. And now Leor Cohen is out there whining and complaining and singing the blues, talking about the democratization of music. What's wrong with the democratization of it? Because it gets in the way of your damn monopoly you used to have. Now that people are no longer dependent on radio to promote themselves, they've got promotion through social media and they got distribution through Amazon or Apple Tunes, iTunes, or the internet or whatever. Now it's going to be a level damn playing field. Now folks are building themselves. What do you know? You've got more viable independent artists today than you have at any time in recorded music history. We have more viable independent artists today than we have ever had. That's why the corporations have to plow millions of dollars into hand-picked puppets, because independent people are getting more of it. They're becoming more creative. They're becoming more ingenious. They're figuring out ways to promote themselves and get themselves out there. No, they may not hit Michael Jackson money, but then again, Michael Jackson only had one Thriller. These folks are taking their piece of the pie, and what they found out was, by the way, I get to keep a whole lot more of it than them stripper hoes that y'all bought an Hermes bag for. Y'all bought her a handbag, but you keep all of her damn money. I ain't going out that way. You keep more money being independent on your own instead of trying to chase a record deal and hoping that the major corporations will boost you enough and you'll hit the lottery. You do better off promoting yourself, boosting yourself, inflating yourself, building yourself. And that attitude did not exist before we came along and told everybody, stop. You had people who were members of music groups who left their music groups long before Ice Cube. Phil Collins and Genesis, and we can go down the list. Peter Gabriel, you really started there. But you had folk leaving their groups all the time back in the day. Okay, we understand that. It wasn't until Ice Cube made international news, NWA at the height of its popularity, not at the bottom of it. Ice Cube left when NWA was at the top of its game, and he let everybody know the reason was because the money wasn't right. And he said, they ganking us on our money. We signed away our rights. I ain't going for it. That changed an entire generation because he told you that he was in the music business. And it is after Ice Cube that rap music becomes about money, particularly about business, not conspicuous consumption, but about the business of the music business. It's after that that you get Puffy and Rick Ross and all the rest of these folk who are would-be CEOs in the music business, because now the focus had changed from trying to make a hit album so you can buy a car to making yourself an entrepreneur who owns things. Nobody talked about that before us. Not Jerry Lee Lewis, not Elvis Presley, not Billy Joel. Nobody was talking like that before we came along. Now everyone is talking that way. And what do you know? The music industry is still alive and well and thriving. It's just not as easy to be a plantation anymore. The plantation owners in the so-called music business, life ain't so lovely for them anymore. That's the only thing that has really changed, is now they can't sit up here and dominate the way they used to. They're still living off of all the stored wealth they used to have, which is very quickly dwindling down. That's what they're upset about. But the music business is still alive and well, and it will get better, because once you have these big money interests no longer able to poison the well with trash music, then the cream will truly rise to the top. It'll take more time, but just understand the cream will really rise to the top. The rest of these folks they're going to try to get by with investment money, which is what they're doing right now. They're getting venture capitalists and buying up people's catalogs because that's all they can really do. But for the new music going forward, the talented, the folk who actually belong here, because now the gatekeepers can no longer keep you out, because we broke down the gates and executed the gatekeepers.
And deal with it, nigga.
That's what changed. And it took us getting in charge and us running things before that became what it is today. It didn't exist before us, and if we disappeared tomorrow, it would disappear along with us. And that's what everyone in the dominant society is afraid of. They're afraid that we are going to do to the system of capitalism what we did to all of the organs in its system. And they're right. We will. That's exactly what we're going to do. They might still have their little penthouses overlooking Central Park, but they'll only have one. They won't have 20 and 30. They'll have one. You and me are getting along just fine with none of that. They'll be all right too. This is why the focus is on the economics and the tangibles. That we are going to grab this monster and seize this monster, because we are going to change it from a monster into something beautiful, which other folks are telling you cannot be done. Yes, it absolutely can be done. It just cannot be done by these folk. It cannot be done by people who see everything as war and that everybody has to lose except for them, because they are talented, they are untalented reprobates who know full damn well they have no business standing there. Steve Ballmer needs to be sweeping the floors at the Clippers arena. He doesn't need to be owning the team. He has no business being there. He hasn't earned it. He has no right. There is no justification for it. He needs to be sweeping the bleachers. He shouldn't be running anything. He's very clearly shown he's inept and incapable. He cannot. White privilege protects him. When we get done, there will be no protection except if you are really that good. If you're really that good, you'll get to stay. But if you're not really that good, you will be ushered off. See, we've never been afraid of competition. That's the reason why we can create things, they're calling it street ball or whatever, rap battles. We have never been afraid of competition because we have always had confidence in our abilities. Nobody gave us anything. It was not given to us, and since we didn't get it from somebody else, we didn't have to be thankful to somebody else. We could stand on our own 2 feet. Big difference. Big difference. Let me tell y'all something there. You ain't never seen a house built as well as if a black man builds it. You ain't never seen a house built as well as if one of us does it, because we are uniquely in touch with the soil. We understand that you're not building a house, you're building a monument. Let me tell y'all something right there. If you get with a real black contractor who knows what the hell he's doing, if he goes to the place or whatever, they bring the lumber, he's inspecting every beam of wood. He's inspecting every single one like a chef at an exotic restaurant, examining every fish, every squid that comes through there. It's like, no, I can't work with no substandard piece of wood. I can't work with, don't bring me that thing with all these knobs up on here. My name is going to be on this. My name is going to be on this. I don't have to toot my own horn. Everybody else talks about my work. Michael Joseph Jackson never had to tell you that he was the best ever. The whole damn world told you that.
And deal with it, nigga.
He didn't have to say nothing. We just lost Frankie Beverly, rest in power. Frankie Beverly never had to sit up there with the Grammys or whatnot and sit up there with these star-studded events. That man's work spoke for him. Usher just did one of his songs in Detroit. His work spoke for him. We just lost James Earl Jones. That man didn't have to tell you what he was. Darth Vader tells you that. James Earl Jones has spent the last 40-something years hiding from people. His work is so damn good, he spent the last 40 damn years hiding from people. His work speaks for itself. He took pride in it. Didn't even get residuals for Star Wars because he said, since I wasn't on screen, I didn't think I was voice acting. It wasn't the same as regular acting. So no, I'm not going to step over there because that's not up to my standard of what acting should be. You see, when y'all are in charge, I want you to understand that's what it will be. These other folks going to try to knock off. You all are all chomping at the bit. You ready to go. And when you actually have access to it, you will have a higher standard. Y'all ain't never seen nobody cook better than a black woman sitting in the kitchen. I said it.
Auntie, chill.
I'm talking about even the young ones today. They're not chefs. These women are artists. I'm telling y'all. And once they start looking at ingredients, let me tell you, nigga, they'll bankrupt you. Oh, some of you fellas who got some chicks who like to cook, man, that heifer will bankrupt you. She gonna go everywhere. She's like with Steve Irwin, she's going around the world looking for exotic ingredients. She will bankrupt you. Oh, trust me, she is gonna start buying. If she starts looking, she gonna keep going. If she finds it, if that's the one, that's the one. Oh, she got to have this. She has to have this. If she doesn't have the ingredients she wants, it ain't nothing gonna get cooked. If she can't get the one she wants, she's not gonna do it. I'm talking about she'll drive an hour to the next city over if they're the only ones who got it. She's not going to work with substandard fare. It ain't going to happen. You see, our women have never relied on fillers. Yes, the recipe could be simple and the recipe could be non-complex, but our women have never relied on fillers. It was done and it was done right. And they make sure it's done correctly. You know why? Because our women ain't gonna put just any old thing in their mouths.
And deal with it, nigga.
Our women have a higher standard. She ain't gonna just put any old thing in her mouth. Now, some of them sexy red looking chicks, I mean, okay, well, just, all right, she'll eat an old tire. But for the rest of you with some sense, for the non-sexy red component, she's not gonna just eat any old thing. She's not gonna do it. She's not gonna sit there and get a great big ass heaping spoonful of something she don't even like. She gonna take 3 old bites of that, and that's it. How many of y'all had a grandmama like mine? How many of y'all had a grandmama like mine? That woman, either side of the family, 2, 3 little old bites, that's it. If it wasn't good, she left it. I don't give a damn how much I paid for it. I don't care how nice the restaurant. I don't give a damn how much I paid for it. If she didn't like it, she'll take 2, 3 little old bites and be like, she ready to get back home so she can cook it for herself. She doesn't give a damn what gourmet restaurant I took her to. And you can see it on their face. You can see it on their face. If it ain't right, you can see it on their face. You sitting there looking out the corner of your eye, and it's like, okay, if she liked it and stuff, she just keep on chewing, everything's fine. If she didn't, you know, chew once, twice, then you see them lips stop, then you see them start curving in. It's like, oh hell. She done took two little old chews and, okay, this didn't go well. Her fork done stopped moving. I'm sitting up like, who the hell is the nigga in the back cooking? What is he doing? Oh, they ain't gonna sit there and damn being polite. Damn being polite. She'll eat the whole damn thing there. See, some of y'all's grandmamas were different than mine. I'm from Louisiana. Some of y'all's were different. Y'all's grandmamas be like, oh, it's all right, baby. I'm not hungry. Mine will tell you this ain't right. Mine would sit there and tell they wouldn't hit you with the, oh, I'm not hungry. They wouldn't hit you with none of that. This ain't right. Baby, you might like this, but this ain't right. I don't know what they put in this. This ain't right. They ain't cooked this all the way. They ain't did this right. She'll sit right there big as daylight and say it to you. They're not going to just eat any old thing. They're not going to just take any old thing. Some of y'all, if you came up like me, your grandmamas cook better than the damn restaurants do. Many of them worked in them restaurants. Soon as the white folk kicked them out the restaurants went to hell. Now they have to spend $1 billion on advertising to make up for their complete and utter lack of quality. Yo, grandmama did a good job because her name was on it. Her name was on that. That was her calling card. She wasn't hiding behind somebody's marketing budget or somebody's promotional budget. What was on that was her name. And she was proud of her name. Today, when you buy a car, you have to pay twice as much as MSRP if you're going to get one that has somebody putting their name on the damn engine. Who the hell built this? You don't know. Unless you buy a G-Wagon or a Corvette. Well, now it's got the name on the engine. Although what's happening with some of these engines, he might want to take his name off of it. Ain't that a son of a gun, by the way? With the Corvette engines when they brought out the C8. Yeah, remember that? The guys putting their names on the engines, and then the engines were sitting up here catching metal shavings in them. I'm like, okay, bro, you might want to take your name off that engine right quick. Yeah, y'all might want to hold off on this. Do you want your name on this work? None of us would be worried about that. Let me tell y'all right now, understand something. The only reason that you don't have better quality coming out of these places when we sitting there and whatnot is because we're not empowered to be able to do so. If you gave us the ability to do so, you know damn well it's going to get done right. You know full well it is going to get done right. It will be done correctly. It will be done meticulously. It will be done with excess of care. We're going to make sure it's right. You know why? Because we come from places where a nigga go upside your head if it isn't.
Nigga, please.
That's the whole reason. You don't get to sit up here and be some CEO hiding off 8 states away. For us, niggas come see you. The work better be right because niggas can come see you if it isn't. Oh, you gon' stand on it because if you don't stand on it, we gon' stand on you. You don't get to hide 15 states away in your damn beach house somewhere while somebody else getting their head knocked open at Wendy's behind your bull jive ass decisions. So we have always had to stand on what we do. We've always had to know. We've always had to be competent. And we get blamed for everybody else's damn screw-ups. But when you put us in charge of something, it becomes iconic, which is why they have strangled us economically. Because we've shown them what the hell we can do. And they understand, man, if you give them niggas an inch, forget taking a mile. They're just going to take the whole damn planet. Don't make sure they get nothing. Make sure they get absolutely nothing. And you don't even want to know what happens when we start marketing and promoting. Damn! By the way, we are the best, most relentless marketers and promoters on the planet. And we're not just relentless, we are ingenious. We know how to take literally anything you hand us and make it hot. We can take literally anything you hand to us and we gonna make it pop. The Cybertruck is an abortion. The Tesla Cybertruck is a damn joke. Somebody in the chat room must have felt what I was saying. The Cybertruck is a damn joke. It wasn't until you had a couple of rappers who figured out how the hell to put a damn paint job on that thing. Now everybody and their mama want to go get one. Resale value is still going to plummet. But, by the way, now folks are like, hey, I can see myself with one of them. We get a hold of something, we make it hot. We get a hold of something, we make it move. We get a hold of something and we make it something to be envied. Ain't nobody else got that. Nobody else. That's why the economics are paramount, because that is the only stumbling block still in our way. There isn't anything they do that we could not do 5 times better, 10 times better if the money wasn't strangled. And they know it. Let me tell y'all something right now. For those of you who live in cities where you got that kind of competition going on, there's a reason why the white folks in Houston went to war when the turkey leg hut opened up. They went to war because when they saw that line, they realized all that place is a gravity well. It's a vacuum cleaner. It's going to suck the life out of everything. People will drop. Let me tell y'all what the holy grail is of retail business. I want to explain to you all right now tonight because you don't go through formal business classes and don't understand it. This is the holy grail of retail business. Having a business that is so well executed that people will drive past your competitors, even if your competitors are cheaper, so they can come do business with you. Damn! That is the holy grail of retail business, storefront business, brick and mortar business, having a business that is so good, so attractive, you do your job so well, you're so excellent, the product is so incomparable that your customers will drive past everybody else selling something similar, selling it cheaper to come to you. At that point, you have a license to print money. That's the holy grail. Everybody wants that. Everyone fights for it. Turkey Leg Hut got it. Sweetie Pie's got it. Sylvia's got it. When we got proper funding and ain't nobody bringing a bunch of bull crap in our way, we make it pop, baby. That's the last time y'all ever gonna be able to make $1. Next thing you know, you see them coming to our side, sitting up here putting flyers up under the windshield wipers of our customers. That's why you need to have security out there in the parking lots and whatnot. Chase them bastards off. Remember, like what was that? Was it Coming to America? John Amos was doing the knockoff of McDonald's, and McDonald's, private investigators sitting there taking pictures, and he had to run the man off. Hey, get away from here. That's what you'll be doing with them folks when they try to come and put their little flyers up into your customers' windshield wipers. Man, if y'all don't go off and go buy some more mayonnaise, damn me, television ads, don't be coming over here soliciting my people. You don't get to go to, and that's another thing, don't let them do that. I'm serious, folks. Let me tell y'all something. If for those of you, when you do go into business, you do go make it pop off, man, you don't let people come up and go do no mess like that. No. You got to get gangster with it. You don't let nobody sit up here and do nothing like that. You don't get to go up in the Walmart and talk about, hey, y'all want to come buy from Brown's Dollar Store? You don't get to go up in the Walmart and stand at the end of the damn checkout registers and hand people flyers. You don't get to do that. You don't get to go to Target, stand in front of the checkout registers and hand people flyers for your store. You don't get to do that. What the hell? You tell me where you get to do that at. You set up business and here they come big as daylight, sitting up here putting flyers up on your customers' cars. Man, they know where the hell your bull jive ass restaurant, so-called restaurant is. They didn't avoid it by accident. They don't need to have a second trip. Hey, give us a second try. They don't need to give you a second try. They didn't want to do the first one. They don't need to give you a second look. We got this locked down over here. What Pretty Tony tell you in the mat? Hey, nigga, you know the rules. Yo, customers chose me. You know the rules. I'm serious, y'all. Y'all get out there in them parking lots and chase their asses off. I'll be damned. You try going to their restaurant and putting your flyers under their customers' windshield wipers and see how that goes. You chase their asses up out of here. Your customers chose me. Now, we can settle this like you got some class, which means you carry your ass, or we can get into some gangster stuff right here in this parking lot. But you done with it. They chose me. For real, for real. Y'all don't let them folks sit up here and do that. Do not let them sit up here and do that. There's nowhere in America you can go where they sit up here and let you do that kind of thing. Nowhere. Then they tell you that's all right for you. The hell it is. They show up as like, oh, no. We going the nigger route today.
And deal with it, nigga.
Tell them we chasing y'all up off the block like the Proud Boys. You ain't coming around here with it. You ain't coming around here with it at all. No, the tangibles are the priority for us because we understand that is the final obstacle standing in our way of transforming the environment. That is the last thing that's standing in our way. Truth be told, it is the only thing standing in our way, which is why we're focused on the economics like never before. We don't even want to have a conversation with nobody unless it's economics based. And we don't want to hear no damn excuses. If Chicago can sit up here and hand off the parking meters to Merrill Lynch and give out a bunch of free money to illegals, you got a whole lot more you can do with that right there. Hand it over here to us and we're going to get that thing revitalized. And I'm talking about right there on the south side. Right there on the south side. Folks will be driving past Lincoln Yards if they ever get that finished and coming down here. That's why they don't want us running that the right way. The bottom line is we do it better. And everyone knows we do it better. Which is why it is imperative that they make sure we don't get nowhere with it. I want y'all to understand that's what the deal is. Stop letting people gaslight you into believing that we don't take pride in our work. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And yes, you do. And when we have control of the economics, if there are any lazy niggas hanging around, we'll finally have the wherewithal and the resources to run their asses up off the block, and the white supremacist structure that finances them to hang around and loiter, we're going to get rid of that too. See, that's where the money comes in and the economics come in. You got the ability to make sure that if folks are loitering, it's because them folk brought them there. If folks are loitering, it's because they brought them there, because that's their intention. That's the game that they're playing. They know what they're doing if somebody brought them there. It wasn't accidental. If they've been brought there, if they're still standing around, somebody brought them here for that reason. They brought them here because they wanted them to do something. Want to show y'all something here from Vice. I don't want to play too much here because Vice will be done set up here and they'll be done set up here and try to jack things up on me here. But just a word of warning to you. They're talking about the Moors now. Just a word of warning. They're talking about the Moors. So for those of you out there talking about being Moors and stuff, by the way, you want to be famous, they're going to give you what you came for. They got a video on Vice on YouTube called The Rise of the Moors. I want y'all to hear some of what happened here. By the way, fair use, YouTube and Vice, fair use.
Just being a single woman trying to compete with a lot of these couples, I lost out on about 13 houses before I came across this one. When I walked in the door, I was like, this is my house. So whatever I can do to get it, I'm gonna get it. You guys, I'm not even kidding. This is the literal SWAT team that was called.
Shanetta Little was finalizing construction plans on her first home when a stranger changed the locks and told her that the house she bought was actually his.
So that's what they're saying there. One of these Moorish dudes ran up in her house, changed the locks, and told her, this is my house. You're on my land. Talk about bum ass, to be totally honest. Talk about bum ass. It gets sillier. I want you to listen to this part.
Yes. I got 2 letters, actually. The first one I got from Jaleel Hugh L. There were like seals and fingerprints and signatures basically saying that my home was on someone else's ancestral lands. I ignored it the first time and they sent me another letter saying because I didn't respond, now we own this house.
So he trying some I'm broken, I say so. Basically. Yeah. He didn't go where the white folk are, by the way. Now, there's another thing. He doesn't go where the white folk are. He doesn't go over there. That's how you know you're dealing with one of these little engineered Trader Coons puppets. He didn't go where they are. He didn't go there. He went over here. Yeah, that tells you something.
The third time was basically when all shit hit the fan. So they sawed off the locks, put their own locks on. He is now occupying the home.
How did they get him out of the house?
Oh, they busted the door down and they basically dragged him out. And it was really scary. Like, I applied for a gun license. I got pepper spray, knives.
Wow.
It was really, really traumatizing.
Police officers still reeling from a deadly attack.
So that's some of what they're doing out there. But I wanted you all to hear something else here.
Over the property.
The man who occupied Shanetta's home was never charged and still maintains the land belongs to him. We did our...
Now, did you hear that? Now, you heard this woman give you her story now. You heard what she said. And by the way, if you want to know what occurred, this happened.
Ownership over the property.
The man who occupied Shanetta's home was never charged and still maintains the land belongs to him.
So let me get this right. They sent out the SWAT team to come and yank him out of her home. The whole SWAT team had to show up, and what you're telling us is that SWAT team shows up for non-criminal events? So the SWAT team is there for non-criminally. How is that even possible? It's possible because that's the plan. You see, if he had gone to the white folks side of town, they would have done that. This would be a whole different scenario. He's fulfilling his part of the mission. He's fulfilling his part of the mission. The dominant society is telling him, okay, you can go ahead and do that. He's fulfilling his part of the mission, their mission, the one they sent him for. If he went to go do this to Becky or Susan or Gertrude, you all know how this goes. Yeah, this is straight up ops. These are straight up operatives. You know how this goes. So yes, folks, these things don't happen by accident is what I'm telling you. It's all engineered. It doesn't happen by accident. They know what they're doing. And we are the targets. We've always been. We always will be. That's just what it is. That's just what it is. We are going to be facing that. So that is why it is essential that you keep us economically starved, because fellas like that ain't gonna get to keep around for no amount of time. They won't be able to do it. It's not gonna happen. He won't be able to stay. The unproductive, the uncompetitive, the unambitious, when we get done, it's like, nigga, oh, you was living good when white folk were running things. You won't be able to stick around when we get done. You're going to have to pull your own damn weight. Let me explain something to y'all right now. You know the people who do not put up with a lazy female more than anybody else? Women. What? Fellas, let me tell y'all something. We got a homeboy. That nigga's broke. Every time payday show up, this nigga, hey, you there? Hey, I'm having car trouble. You hear from that nigga about once every other month? New sob story to lay on you. Men sit up here and throw money like that. Fellas, though, just get him out your face. Men will throw some money like that. And if it's a chick, one of them bad luck broads, you got one of them bad luck broads, she always having trouble of some kind. She's always in a mess. Hey, boo. Hey. What you doing? Oh, I just need a little bit of something to tie me over till payday here. That's what happens at a man's house. Women have a one loan only rule. What? Y'all don't know that. Women have a one loan only. They'll give their girlfriend some money one time. That heifer better not never be back for the rest of her life. Women don't want to hear it. Men will sit up here and let a broad sit up here and string us along for damn me decades. Women loan each other money one damn time. They don't give a damn if that heifer got to carry her car to work. You don't get to come back no 2-3 damn times. Women don't do that. Men do that for years. Women don't loan each other money, much less give it. They don't do that. If they do, it happens one time. That is it. The next time the chick come back, wait a minute, didn't you already ask me for something? I ain't got it. No, it's not going to be no discussion about it whatsoever. You can't come back. There's no second loans. It ain't. Women don't operate that way. They don't. I'm talking about, and y'all, women know this. That's why they don't loan money to their coworkers. Damn. Women don't loan money to their coworkers because they know that she knows when you get paid. That's the reason she hitting you up. So that heifer come by on Thursday. That heifer show up on Thursday because she know that's when the direct deposits hit. That's why they don't loan money to their female coworkers, because after that on Thursday, here she come like a damn rain cloud coming through the building. It's like, oh, hell no. We're not going to do this every week. We're not going to do this every week. Women do not loan money. Women don't believe in another broad eating off them. We got some folk in here who don't never comment. They spoke up tonight. Then them perked up tonight and said, yes, Lord, he telling the truth. Some folks, I ain't never seen them comment. That woke them up. They said, oh, you speaking my language. Yeah, he telling the truth to you. Yep. Women know it. Y'all don't loan money to nobody. If another broad, women will be quick to tell you, if I can work 40 hours this week, if I can do 20 hours of overtime, heifer, so can you. Oh, women will be quick to tell each other that. Men sit up here and listen to folks' sob stories. You get some chick show up and whatnot, she's showing some thigh, you done stop asking what the hell was going wrong. Women don't operate that way. She like, look here, heifer, I work the same hours you did. How am I you broke and I'm not? We both work at the same damn place. If I could do extra overtime, you can too. Oh, women turn the Republicans on each other real quick. Soon as another female want to get off in their pockets, women become conservatives real fast. Women only do that liberal garbage when they got a man to eat off of. When the women are sitting around with each other, oh man, they get tight. Oh, they ain't giving nothing. Get out my pockets, nigga. I'm talking about like $5. They don't give each other parking toll money. Damn. Y'all don't understand. It's all the way serious over there on the estrogen side of the game. They don't give each other parking money because they know it ain't never gonna stop. She knows if women have a rule. For the fellas who don't know, don't believe me, watch the women in the chat room when I say this. Women have an unspoken rule towards other women. They know that a woman can't support another woman. Because if you start supporting another woman, she starts treating you like her man. And by that, I mean that she expects you to be her protector and provider. Women understand you can't support another woman. Can't do it. If you give that to her, you start supporting another female, it never stops. Women understand those are the rules. If I start supporting you, it ain't gonna quit. It ain't gonna quit. Not at all. Look at the females in the chat room, y'all. If you think I'm making this up, okay. Females are not gonna do that. Okay, so if Sexy Red bummy ass show up trying to get $2 or $3, like, oh, she got to leave. The women will be real quick to tell her, oh, no, you got to go. You talk about the brother in Dallas who the females come up in his damn restaurant dancing on the furniture. He was the nice guy. Y'all don't understand. He's the nice one. Do you know what would have happened if that had been a black woman's restaurant? Damn! Oh, that brother in Dallas, he was the good guy. He was the nice guy. I wish you would have a restaurant that a black female done started and another chick come up in there acting a fool and dancing on her furniture and acting like she owns it and costing her money. Oh, you'll catch a damn broomstick upside the head? The women ain't gonna play about that. Talking about getting free food and standing on the furniture and you costing money and being a problem. The females would have chased their asses up out of there. That wasn't gonna last no amount of time. They were doing real good with him. He was sitting there arguing with them. The women ain't gonna argue with you. They're not gonna argue with another woman. Females are not really gonna sit there and argue with another woman like that, especially if it's about money. All them fighting videos online with them women, if it's about money, nigga, it's going down. It's going down. Females do not believe in letting another woman sit up here and leech off of them and eat off of them and blood suck. Man, she ain't gonna have it. So if you put her in charge and she done built it and she done got it right, she like, heifer, if I can do it, you can do it too. No excuses. No excuses. That's where we're going with it. That's why the economics are crucial. It's going to be excellence. If she can put in the work, you can put in the work. Not gonna sit up here and all the rest of us working and you sitting over here seeing if you can wiggle your butt cheeks. Woke up at 9 in the morning, you're looking all hungover. It's 6 in the damn evening. You still glazed over trying to bum a damn joint off somebody. The women ain't gonna take that if they gotta pay for another chick. Please understand, it'll be universal. That's the reason why the dominant society needs to stay in charge to keep these stumbling blocks in the way. It's not you and me keeping them around. It's the dominant society keeping them around because their plan and their strategy is to construct and erect these artificial barriers. Everything is engineered by them. That's why they dump them off in our neighborhoods. They dump the illegals in our neighborhoods, the bums in our neighborhoods, the criminal in our neighborhoods. Yeah, that's engineered. That's not natural selection. That's engineered. They're the ones doing it. You ain't never seen a bunch of folks loitering in the white neighborhoods. You ain't seen it. They're not allowed. I wish you would show up in they damn neighborhoods talking about setting up a tent. Talking about you homeless. Tell me when you all have ever seen homeless people in a gated community.
Nigga, please.
If you all think that, they were just it was a legal dispute and it wasn't clear. Okay, then tell me why come you didn't see the homeless people in the gated communities. You didn't see the homeless people down there in Beverly Hills. I know, I was there. Homeless folk all up and down Skid Row, all up and down heading into downtown. Wasn't no homeless people on Beverly Hills. Wasn't no homeless people in front of the Chanel store. Wasn't no homeless people in front of Louis Vuitton. Wasn't no homeless people in front of Rolex. Wasn't nothing homeless down there. $200,000 and $300,000 cars. No homeless tents anywhere to be found. Explain to me how the hell that is. Explain to me how the hell that is. Come on now. Same city as everybody else, and yet they ain't got the same problem. Come on. Go down Rodeo Drive. Okay, I'm talking about go back the other direction where the houses are. Not down where the stores are. Bust that 180. Head back where the houses are. Ain't no homeless folk up in there neither. Ain't no homeless folk up in there neither. Now, come to your side of town and you stepping over homeless folk all over the damn place. I'll be damned. That's not accidental, nor is that natural selection. It's engineered. And once we have the economics, the reason why we're insisting on that is because now we're going to go ahead and fix some of them problems. And they know it. That's why they're trying to import as many of them from all these immigrant countries as they can to replenish those numbers. They're hoping that this will be an issue for the next couple of centuries. So they're trying to get that all into place now because they know we ain't going to have it. Now you're getting too far out of line and too far out of the pocket, and we ain't going to have it. That's the difference. However, you might disagree. Therefore, we're going to go ahead and get the Zoom up for you all so you can go ahead and call in on that. We'll go ahead and get that up for you here so you can go ahead and call in on that. In the meantime, I want to thank everyone who has contributed to support tonight's program on PayPal, Super Chat, Venmo. Shout out here to Descendants Lair, Joanne, Nancy, everybody else here, Logic Before Emotion, Cyberdyne 100. Everybody else here who contributed to support tonight's program on PayPal, Super Chat, Venmo, thank you very much for your support. We appreciate that here as well. Want to make an announcement. Let me go ahead and make an announcement here right quick also. Brothers and sisters from around the world, it is a done deal. I have always wanted to do bigger and better here. You all were a part of my first documentary film, 7 a.m., the first and only documentary of its kind that gives an in-depth examination of why we are the poorest people in the world, black business, black entrepreneurship. It was my inaugural event. Very proud of it. It was the little indie that could. We are now preparing to release 8 a.m., the successor to 7 a.m., not a sequel, but a successor to it, which takes you so far into the game on this right here that really, to be totally honest, it needs to be a mini-series. It'll be well worth the while. We are going to be having our premiere in New York City. I have finalized the arrangements. I've signed the documents. We've got everything reserved. So for those of you who want to join us for the worldwide premiere in New York, it'll be next month. Tomorrow night, I'm going to give the specifics on it. We're going to go ahead and give the specifics, the date, everything else. So tomorrow night, you're going to want to be here when we do that. I've got some more things to announce. I'll let you know exactly what we're doing here, but it was my goal to have us in Times Square. We've been at the SVA Theater and whatnot. We opened that market a decade ago. I'm very proud that we did that. But it was my goal this time to get us somewhere else. I wanted to be in the middle of the action. I wanted to be in the heart of things. I wanted them to see a sizable number of us show up. And it's not for rampant consumerism, because you know when we show up in numbers, it gets folks' attention. So I want you all to be prepared. If you want to be a part of the premiere of it, it'll be in New York City. We're going to be in Times Square. Some of y'all probably want to make a weekend of it. So get ready. I'm going to have the dates for the other venues coming afterward here. But just so you be aware, tomorrow night, we're going to go ahead and give you all the info on that. You're going to want to be a part of it. Don't be surprised if I surprise you. I'll say no more. So, before now, we did it big. We getting ready to do it mega. We're going to take a very brief commercial, non-commercial break. When we come back, we'll probably take a few of your calls and more. This is the Black Channel.
Are you looking for real financial advice? Thornton Financial is here to help. Certified financial planner Jason Thornton specializes in tax and wealth planning. Are you living paycheck to paycheck with no retirement plan? Do you need help with the IRS? Book your free consultation with Thornton Financial today. Budgeting, savings, debt management, and retirement. Even tax debt settlements. Get the advice you need to live your best life. Book your free consultation appointment today. Go to www.thornton-financial.com.
Hi, I'm Mr. B, and I welcome you to visit my website, mrbtheteacher.com. Explore our site for my latest book, my blog, and podcast that are packed with insightful articles, tips, and strategies to help students navigate the educational journey. Need more help? Check out my education consulting and tutoring services for engaging lessons, downloadable resources, and personalized learning plans. Please join us at mrbtheteacher.com today. Thank you all for listening.
Order yours today to experience all the benefits of Ash Kickin' Body Butter. With skin so smooth and soft, you'll thank us for it. Shop Ash Kickin' online. That's ASHKICKIN.com.
Hi, this is Brenda Starr, creator of Poetry with a Purpose and author of the book Pressed But Not Crushed. Pressed But Not Crushed is an anthology of political poems that address current and historical issues in American descendants of slave population and African American population. The book describes slavery and its residuals, Jim Crow segregation, social depredation, and other relevant issues to American descendants of slaves and African Americans, including the current political climate that does not address our issues.
This is the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. Very glad to be with you all here this evening. As we are engaging in tonight's conversation here, we're talking about why economic tangibles are the priority. And I wanted to have a broadcast here tonight to focus on that because we need to stay centered on that kind of thing. Presidential elections come and go. Black empowerment is eternal. And we are the only ones who are going to protect that. We have been engaged in a centuries-long conflict by people who intend to make us their eternal slaves, and then eventually you'll have to be disposed of altogether. That is always in the plan, that's always in the format, and it will never leave. Other generations have been focused on other things. Some of them were focused on pure survival. Others were focused on building. The civil rights generation was focused on social status and having emotional security. We are different. We already have our own emotional security, and we are not looking for that outside of ourselves. We have that within ourselves, and that's what's fueling us. But we also see that other people are trying to play us for a fool. Now, that's the other thing that we see. Previous generations have, quote, played the game. They saw where that kind of thing was happening. They saw where that kind of thing was occurring, and they just sat with it. And that became their way of dealing with things, or should I say not dealing with it. That became their way of doing it, is to try to ignore that, to get better at being abused. Building an economy was not on their radar. The reason that building one was not on their radar was because they saw that as an impediment. You see, black businesses to them did not give them status. That's the issue that they had. Yeah, they could do this, but black businesses don't really give you status. Integrating in the dominant society gives status. So that's why you hear different things from them than you hear here. That's why they put so much pride in being the first Negro. They put a tremendous amount of pride in being that. That's why you heard so many of them talk about that, to the point that many of you get sick. Tired of hearing people talk about that kind of thing. The first Negro at this school, and the first Negro at that job, and the first Negro in that government agency. We did not want that. We did not look for that. That doesn't have value with us. We're building something different. We're building something completely different. And what we're building is going to be something that's going to change the dynamic permanently. A lot of folks are afraid of that. A lot of them are afraid of that. And for good reason. They've built everything they have on keeping things the way it is. We've never been afraid of competition. We've never been afraid of building, and we're certainly not afraid of it now. And we're not going to be worried about it going forward because, you see, we've had to take the harder way to do things. We've had to take the longer way to do things. That's made us harder, and that's actually a good thing. We haven't been raised candy puff and easy. That's another reason to get the low lives, the coons, the sellouts, the lazy, the shiftless, the dusty. That's why they got to go. The weak aren't going to get us anywhere. The weak will be the first ones to sell out. The weak will be the first ones running back to white daddy and white mommy. Please understand that. The first folks who are going to go back crying to white mommy and white daddy are going to be the weak. Those are going to be the first people to do that. They're going to be the first ones saying, hey, can we get y'all to come over here? They'll have nothing to offer them. They're not useful and they have nothing to offer. Also, please understand the Candace Owenses and the Thomas Sowells, the reason why they are adamantly opposed to us rising up is because they know full well that the white supremacists they're kissing ass on, if we get our act together and we start coming into power, they're not going to have a seat at the table no more. The only reason they let you around was because they thought that you could be and serve as a destabilizing force. But if you're not going to be able to serve that purpose, you got to go. And that's why they dumped all them Negroes overboard on MSNBC and CNN. If you can't achieve their ultimate goal of being an effective operative to mislead the masses, we're not going to support you. That's why Roland Martin is trying to sweep in and rake in as much money as he can right now, because once it gets exposed that, by the way, you're not influential and you don't make anything happen, it's like, okay, why do we have to pay you anything? You're not moving the needle. You're not influential. You can't really make anything happen. Why do we have to give you anything? Big difference. See, the issue here is you don't get to play the black token card with us. That one doesn't work. You don't get to play the black token card. You get to play the black empowerment card, but that we get to count for that one. Either you produce results or we're really not trying to hear nothing you got to say. You have to have results for that one. You don't get to bull jive and lean on, well, I'm black, so this is what I don't have to do. When you say you're black over here, it comes along with what you have to do. Let me get over here on Zoom. I got Michael over here on Zoom. What's on your mind, Michael?
Well, it's just that if we had Africa to back us, some of those countries over in Africa, our task would be a whole lot easier. But for some reason, they just can't get on code with us.
Well, they're not on code with each other, first of all. Forget being on code with us. We're on the other side of the ocean. Show me one place in Africa where they're on code with each other. I rest my case. Thank you very much for giving us a call. Furthermore, like I say, we're going to be the leaders here. We're going to be the leaders. We're going to be the trendsetters. We're going to be the ones who show everybody how it's done. They're going to follow our lead. Okay, Chris, go ahead and unmute yourself. All right.
Hey, how you doing, Jason?
All right, Chris, what's on your mind?
Yeah, I was doing some intel on like the Boule and stuff like that, and just trying to figure out, how they worked and their relationship with white supremacy. But one interesting I found is that like a lot of their chapters, I was surprised at how much money they move just from their membership fees. So I was wondering if what you thought about the idea of maybe people from this space, we have 30, 40 people per metro area that got our money right, where we can go put a couple $100 a month into a pot each and go make some moves, because they move like $200,000 per chapter. So I was wondering what you thought about that.
Yeah, I mean, definitely where your sororities and fraternities are concerned, they're ultimately useless, but they can at least organize sometimes. So that's the agenda. Just like the so-called black church doesn't get a whole lot done, but when they do get together, at least the pimp preacher has organized an agenda. So that kind of thing would certainly work. What I would like to do, and by the way, that's the kind of thing, actually, I've been dealing with that also. But there would have to be requirements on it. Because here's the issue. The issue is those folk that you're talking about, the ones they've been to college and stuff like that, they're not making minimum wage. They are misguided, or whatever as you want to call it, but they're not making minimum wage. They're not in between jobs. So they are in many ways executing what Samuel Gompers said, when they were having organized labor in America. Remember, the number one rule of organized labor when they were putting that together and themselves together, the rule was that you had to be skilled. You had to be a skilled laborer. You couldn't just be general labor. You had to have a skill, plumbing, carpentry, masonry. You had to be a skilled laborer because it took years for you to learn how to do what you do. And if you go on strike today, The company may want to replace you, but it'll take years to replace you. And the company won't last. The company will go out of business quicker than we have to worry about coming back to work. That's how they got empowered. So these other folks who organize the way you're talking about and whatnot, they bring that to the table. Like it or not, once again, that's why they keep bragging about their fraternities. Yeah, but their fraternities are also connected to those schools they went to. Whether you think they put their degrees to use in a positive way or not, is tied to the schools they went to. So what you're saying absolutely works. The issue, the number one issue that we would have, which, by the way, I've been examining and dealing with here to the extent that we can, if you do that kind of thing, you can't, it's going to have to be for folks who actually are focused. They've brought some resources. Their credit score isn't in double digits, things like that. They actually have, some savings of a sizable amount. Those are the things you're going to need to have. Folks who are motivated but didn't bring any money or resources or ability to gain that, that's where we tend to fall off at. And the white folk are giving them advantages in that regard, because when you think about it for a few moments, I mean, you take a look at Joy Reid, you take a look at Simone Sanders, you take a look at Roland Martin, you take a look at Monique Presley. I mean, Kamala Harris, what do you got? Take a look there. A bunch of sororities, a bunch of fraternities, a bunch of schools, and all of them fighting and competing to get the most benefits and tangibles from the dominant society. Well, that's what they learned in college. That's what they were taught there. So what you're saying is absolutely correct. The real thing is about the qualifiers for it, because just saying that statement is not enough. I'm going to go beyond it there. Like Sylvester Stallone said in that second to the last Rambo movie, if we didn't bring tens of thousands, we're not going to change anything. So there's another thing that we have to be brutally honest with ourselves about. This is like saying that you're going to build a subdivision on $100 a month. You have a very nice ambition, but what you're saying is impractical. When a person says something like that, I'm not saying you're saying that, but when they say something like that, it's impractical. So if we're really serious, that's the way it needs to be counted. Now, if you're going to do such a thing, there's also a responsibility on the people. We can't sit up around here and have another Jay Morrison. What? Yeah, I said that. Him and any of the other jackalopes hanging around him. By the way, you have to lose your appetite for con men and con men adjacent people. We have to completely divest ourselves, if you will, of that appetite for that or that susceptibility to it. Can't just have somebody walk in the room saying, hey, I'm black like you. It's like, no. I took a look at your bank account. You're not like me.
Right.
Ooh, you being sedity and snooty. No, I'm not. I'm being practical here. Did you come to help us build? Did you come to eat with us, or did you come to eat off us? See, we have to get very, very stern about that point right there. Don't tell me that you sick of poverty and you sick of being down and out and whatnot, and I don't see no muscle, no hustle. This idea that you're going to sit next to the rest of us and we brought resources and you brought a good talking game. What we need to do is sit you back over here where you were till you move past talking. Please understand, brother, and I don't know how long you've been listening to me, but I mean, I've been doing this now going on 20 years. And what I'm saying is, do you know how many people have been listening to me for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 17 years? And credit is still upside down. Still don't have any savings. Some of y'all done gone off and had a couple of bastard kids. I see you. Some of y'all done gone off looking to see if you can get a sponsor. Some of you become strippers. Damn! I ain't gonna say your name, baby, but you know who you are. Some of y'all out here, I'm just saying, you're not serious. It doesn't take 5 years to fix those issues I just told you about. It doesn't take 5 years to take your credit score from 600 to 700. It doesn't take 5 years to take your savings from $500 to $5,000. It doesn't take 5 years to do that. It doesn't. Unless you're doing a bunch of partying and bull jiving and messing around. Year after year after year. So the answer to your question is, brother, your answer to the question is that's a great idea. First, you have to locate the truly serious. who that's what they're on. We can criticize the Boule folk all we want to. The bottom line is they're serious, at least in their own interests. Even if they are sellouts, that's a personal descriptor. That doesn't change the fact that, by the way, look what they did. Look how serious they are. They're more dedicated to pursuing their culinary than a lot of us have been pursuing, building, or at least being serious about having resources. So, brother, it comes down to that. I'm not even talking about reparations grade. I'm just talking about realize something. For a lot of folk there, if you give them a credit card, they done gone off and just maxed it out in the first week at Chipotle. Not seeing that this is something you're supposed to build here. It's like, okay, I need to get my credit together so I can actually start taking out some real financing for some real things. Nobody's going to take me seriously if I can't manage $500. Why would they give me $5,000 or $50,000? That's the difference. So what you're saying is absolutely correct. It's absolutely right. It is the whole reason that I made the Black channel. And who knows? For our next set of movies here we're doing and whatnot, that could be in the offing. Don't be surprised if I surprise you.
Definitely. I appreciate that, Jason, and I'll definitely take that information.
Thank you very much for giving us a call. Yeah, like I say, definitely what happens here is that people have a lot of folks say that same notion. Why can't we do XYZ? Why can't we do XYZ? We can't do it if you came empty-handed. We can't do it if you came empty-handed. If you transform what we do here into church, where the man preaches at you, you've been the biggest slut in Hoville for the last 10 years. The man preaches to you on Saturday and Sunday. You're sitting up there whooping it up and cheering and everything else. And then as soon as you leave here, you go back to doing what you were doing. Well, now you've converted something that could have been life-changing and you've turned it into entertainment. That's the part folk have to lose their appetite for. It's one thing to sit up and talk about building something. It's another thing to work 60 hours this week. It's one thing to talk about what you want to do. It's another thing to work 60 hours doing it. That's a big difference. It's one thing to talk about what these other folk are not doing. Look, they got together on XYZ, and then take a look at your credit score, and you're not doing anything useful or progressive or productive with it. There's where the disconnect is. It isn't so much that in intelligent Black society that folks don't see that's the issue. The issue is a lot of folks are waiting for a savior. They waiting for a savior. If they do get their credit score together, it's straight to the car dealership. Straight to the car dealership. So we can practice some material therapy. The folks we're up against and whatnot, that's not their biggest concern. Everything for them is about, by the way, are we investing? Are we flipping? Are we turning it bigger than it was? They got long-term plans. And I meant what I said to the young man there. I got a bunch of folks here who've been listening to me now for decades. Well, going on decades. Some of them haven't touched a single thing with it. Folks, Dr. Claude Anderson, if you took anything from what Dr. Claude Anderson said, the part you're supposed to learn is that the economic controls the political. Damn! The economic controls the political. That's the thing. You are not going to have truly lasting political change if the economics are not there. That has to be, that's a crucial component. This idea that you're going to change the politics with no financial resources whatsoever. When you don't understand what politics is. Politics is the system and the mechanism by which we control the distribution of resources. Politics is how we control the distribution of resources. If you brought no resources, you brought nothing to leverage. You get to be a spectator. And if somebody needs you, you get called in only to the extent that they need you there. So for those of us who are concerned about these things, and you're tired of other folk controlling the conversation, and you see how they're being, practicing malfeasance with it, I understand that. But we practice malfeasance when we are not 5 times as dedicated to stopping that. I have a number of you in here right now. I told you this over a decade ago. There's a number of you listening to me right now. You got kids. In the Asian community, them kids will be working in the family business. Arab community, they're working in the family business. Black community, they talking about let the kids be kids. What? Think that over for a minute. The folks that we're competing with, they're sitting up here raising Vivek Ramaswamy and whatnot. They're raising their children to sit up here and compete voraciously early. Black folk have the kids and stuff. Well, let me find out what they're happy with. I'm just letting you know, hey, you can do that, but these other people have a fundamental difference in the way in which they see things and how they execute, even right down to their children. They have a far different perspective on that. Too many of us are sitting up here trying to figure out how to check out. Can we just say it like it is? Folks trying to figure out how they can check out and go start goofing off and loafing off again. As opposed to saying, hey, we ain't got time to waste. It's hard to sacrifice. Many of you feel like all you've been asked to do is sacrifice. I didn't say it was going to be fair. You're going to have to dig deep. If you want everything, it's going to cost you everything. I've told you all this now since the Black Channel started. The price of everything is always everything. Don't say you want everything and you're not willing to give everything. Just be honest. Hey, Jason, if I can just be a little over minimum wage, I'll be cool. Okay, just say it like that. But don't say you want true freedom, which means the ability to do anything, and you are not willing to give everything. You're going to have to sacrifice. You are going to have to do without. You are going to have to pull long hours. You are going to have to stay mentally focused. You're going to have to deal with monotony. You're going to have to deal with a bunch of things. It's not exciting. It's not glamorous. Everything isn't going to be a video game and chocolate cake. Everything isn't going to feel great and taste great. Everything isn't about acquiring a life of leisure. The issue becomes we get into groups together and we can be of like minds, but if we're not also of like means, we're not going to get anything done. If we're not all of like abilities, we're not going to get anything done. There's where the difference comes in. I started the Black Channel. I made 7 a.m. because I wanted to kick off that conversation. And it's been a difficult one, but we're seeing progress. Now we're seeing progress. And that's good. That's good, but it's just a start. They are utilizing the full resources of the federal and the state governments to try to derail what we do at every level. There is no alternative government for us to turn to. We have to be our own. So I'm calling on every one of you here tonight to remind you what the young man just asked was actually the best question we could have heard here. By the way, if we're unhappy with the status quo, if you had 5 or 10 black people in Houston, not 500, just 5 or 10. 5 or 10 in Atlanta, you won't be complaining about T.I. and Killer Mike anymore. 5 or 10 in D.C., 5 or 10 in Chicago who are actually serious, and all of you are equally driven. That's all you're really missing. Some folks who all of y'all are up, have one thing in common. You up early in the morning like Charlie Wilson and the Gap Band, and you up late all night. When you have just 4 or 5 people, and that's all of you, 4 or 5 dynamos, not 4 or 5,000, just 4 or 5 of you, and you are relentlessly driven. You get the 4 or 5 of y'all together, man, what you talking about? That's how it happens. Right there. The issue is, do you have people who are equally driven? That's the issue. It's great to talk a good game, but if they're not equally driven and putting in the work and sacrificing and don't take time off, they're looking at their numbers, the bank account got to go up, the credit score got to go up. That's what you focus on morning, noon, and night. If that's missing, okay. Because let me tell you something, the old folk taught y'all something. The old folk taught you something. The old folk in my family used to have a saying, white folks be plotting while we be sleeping. I told you all going on 2 decades ago, white supremacy does not take a holiday. The reason why it has always been one of my principles to broadcast on the major holidays is to acknowledge to all of you, white supremacy doesn't take a holiday. Those of you who've been following me now going on 20 years, you know I am here every single major holiday. I ain't telling you what somebody else told me. I'm putting it in. My track record is good. My paperwork on the yard is immaculate. I'm here when a bunch of the rest of y'all are sitting around the damn table stuffing the turkey in. Jason's sitting here. I'm sitting here. I'm not nowhere else. You know where I'm going to be. But that's because I eat this, drink this, sleep this, think this, live this, love this, everything. And anything you can name. If you want to make progress, you're going to have to be more determined than the white supremacists are. Ain't no other way. You're going to have to outwork them, outstudy them, outman them, out-excellence them, outdo them, outmaneuver them. You're going to have to be better than them. You can't be as good as they are and beat them, people. You don't get to be as good as Roland Martin and beat him. You don't get to be as good as Joe Biden and beat him. You have to be better. Ain't no other way. There's no other way. That's why the economic tangibles are paramount to us and are the only subject of discussion, because that's the only obstacle still in the way. And it is on our generation to remove that obstacle. We transformed all these other things. It's now on you and me to remove this final obstacle. The bad guys are never going to get out the way. They're always going to be there. They're always going to be doing what they do. You and me have to get around them too. And if we can't get around them, we'll go right through them. But one way or another, it's got to be done. It's got to be done. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up here tonight. I want to thank everyone who has contributed to tonight's program on PayPal, Super Chat, Venmo. Thank you very much to Abigail, Mark B., Chadwick, Andrew L., Glennis, and everyone else here. If you are new here to the Black Channel, welcome to the Haven of Intelligent Black Thought. We do this every weekend. Click that red subscribe button. Click that yellow notification bell. Join us each and every time that we're here. If you haven't been to our website, blackchannelfilms.com, you want to go and check out our groundbreaking, best-selling documentary work, 7 a.m., Gentrified, Race War. Blackchannelfilms.com, that's the place to be. Tomorrow night, we'll be giving the official announcement for the New York premiere, which is going to kick off our release of my newest documentary film, 8 a.m. It was my goal when I started the Black Channel to have a place that was a reliable repository of accurate, reliable information, to get off into the nuts and the bolts of it. I would like to take a brief moment here to have a brief aside to tell you one thing about my new upcoming film. In my upcoming film, 8 a.m., you're going to notice that I'm going to be talking to a disproportionate number of people in the music industry. Why? Because the music industry is an example, an illustration of an area where we have excelled. It is a place where we have excelled. We've gone to all avenues and all areas of it, despite all odds. The music industry has been a resounding success story for us. Many of you have children. And while it is very nice and very wonderful to talk about Michael Joseph Jackson and to talk about Frankie Beverly and to talk about Prince Nelson, that's nice. But folks, do you realize they're gone? I don't say that gleefully and I don't say it mockingly. I say it very somberly. Do you realize that many of us grew up listening to them, but do you also realize that they are gone now? Some by accident, some by drug use, some because they were killed. But for the ones who weren't, by old age. Joe Sample and some of the others, do you realize that? Do you realize that they're gone? Now, Matthew Knowles had a plan for his daughter. Matthew Knowles had a plan for his daughter. And you can talk about Drake's mama all you want to. She had a plan for, he said God's plan. Well, I won't argue with him on that. But your mama had a plan too. By the way, you can talk about these people and complain about it all you want to, but that doesn't change things. And I want you to consider something else. Many of you, and this is the shocking part to me as someone who doesn't have any biological children. I see so many of you, you have sons, you have daughters. Many of them have talents. Many of them could have been the next Ella Fitzgerald. And if they would have had a parent who would have invested in them. Now they get to go listen to Beyonce and they can hear you complain about Cardi B, but you didn't do anything for them. You didn't make sure that they had what they needed. You didn't make sure they had what they needed. That's the whole thing right there. You didn't make sure that they had what they needed, and you're their parents. So you're going around complaining about other people and going around complaining about what they're not doing and the trash they're putting out and the expressions and how we're being promoted to the world and whatnot. And many of you have had an opportunity and didn't. However, for some of you, it's because you didn't even know where to start. You didn't know what the numbers were. The radio business has been a monopoly. I get that. We don't have that issue today. So I wanted to let you all know that this documentary is in many ways dedicated to your children. 8 a.m. is in many ways dedicated to your children so that they will have something they can take a look at, done by some of the most preeminent movers and shapers in the history of the industry. And as a result, you'll have something different. As a result, you'll have something different. That's important. If you want to have the ability to do that you didn't have the knowledge and you didn't have the information, you didn't have the numbers, you didn't know how it went. I've done this so that all those questions are asked and answered and demystified from the most preeminent, reliable sources. And these are skills and things that you can apply in other areas. You can do it in music, you can do it in media, you can do it in movies, you can do it in manufacturing. This is just another product. So for the first time, we're going to have something that goes in depth. I think it's fast moving. It is engaging. It's everything I think you want it to be. It is something you can put down in front of a fifth grader and they'll be able to understand it. So tomorrow night, we're going to kick off the festivities there. And this will just be the beginning. So I recommend that you all show up tomorrow night. Don't be surprised if I surprise you. I want to thank all of you for tuning in to tonight's program. Thank you for watching live or recorded. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing. Thank you for being here. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, Black is the future and the future is uncompromising.